Welcome to Sacred Success, the alchemy of spiritual business, where Michelle Barr talks to conscious entrepreneurs and spiritual seekers about creating a better life and a better business now. Building your own business is the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course you could ever enroll in. And that's why Michelle does the work she does for you. We're glad you're here with Michelle Barr on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Welcome. This is Michelle Barr, your Sacred Business Success Coach. I'm so glad you're joining me today, whether you're new to my community or you've been around for a while. I want you to know that every week I show up on this show and I just don't just talk at you. I provide you with powerfully practical and spiritually rich tools. So you listen to a show, I'm going to make you think, I'm going to help shift your energy, and I'm going to give you something to walk away that you can get results. And that is going to happen today. I'm really excited about today's show. You can go to OMTimes Radio Network. You can get all the archives of my shows. They're available on iTunes. There's a lot going on. I have always built a personal success library for myself. So when I'm in the car, when I'm on an airplane, when I'm waiting somewhere, when I have a few moments to myself, I have things to read and listen to. So these are great things to start or add to your personal success library. You can turn your car into a rolling university that's constantly feeding you, and that's part of the law of attraction, and part of the success principles is what you're putting in so that it affects how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and then what you're doing. Today I'm going to talk all about a very big topic, money. Money is tired of getting a bad rap. How I get the money to do the things I want and need to do, and what that means for you. And talking about money, I'm going to tell you, money was not my most important motivator getting into business. And that's how a lot of my clients are. We have these gifts. We get a calling. We're usually doing our best work and what we're made to do and what we should be being paid the most for. We're just doing, showing up in our workplaces, in our neighborhoods, in our kids' school, in our family, and we're giving it away for free. And it's so easy to us. We don't realize how valuable it is. And the other things we're doing drain us when really we want to be doing this that we're here to do, that we're made to do, that's our gifts. So money comes up. So I stepped into business just wanting to do the work. And that took me pretty far, that strong desire matched with your calling, and you authentically align and you tap into that and you start taking aligned action. But I didn't make good business decisions, and it became a very expensive hobby, the most expensive hobby. And I ran my family and my finances into the ground. Meanwhile, I'd created this beautiful Hope House center in my community. People loved it. People flocked there day and night. People were getting fed and served. People were having spontaneous healings. People were stepping out into their own gifts. But I didn't take care of me, and I didn't take care of the business. And I had to learn to make money important. Over time, I've realized a lot of that was my own stuff, my own crap that was getting in the way. So I work even more and more now with these money issues, because I will tell you, my clients, most of them are very right-brained. They're the helpers and healers. They're creatives. They're visionaries. And they want to be doing their work in the world. Some of them are very emotional when they get on the phone with me. I leave room in my calendar for 10 conversations, complimentary consultations a month, so we can get people out of this stuck and into moving forward and living this life and having this business that you desire and deserve. And they show up, and often they're crying or they're just so distraught because they're stuck in this place that I've been stuck, and we have to talk about money. Other people show up and they are ready to go and they know this is the thing, and money is the biggest objection. And there's a lot about money we're going to talk about today because there's a lot of illusion that goes on. For instance, just to get you thinking, I had a belief, well, in this world, these helpers and healers, all of us, including me, we just can't make really good money, but we're doing this noble work in the world and they really can't afford it, but they need my help. And I had a belief that everyone who showed up on that phone line was going to have a money objection. And if it was big enough, I would just stop there. I wouldn't offer them my help anymore. I would fall into their money story. But guess what? It wasn't always true, because they would pay somebody else a lot of money, or they'd go on a big vacation or buy a new car or find a way. They'd buy crystals, they'd buy a workshop, they'd buy Reiki certification, all of those things. I wasn't valuing me and I wasn't standing in my worth. And what has happened is I have healed my own. That illusion is healed. That's how I know it's illusion, because now I don't get that nearly as much anymore. And the clients who are showing up, they're stepping into my true value, my true authentic rates, which reflect what I have invested in myself and what I ask people to invest when they work with me. And people are showing up and they're ready. The money is still a stretch. It's always going to affect us. Some people in the world have not money issues at all, and they have other issues. So we're all going to have something, but money still, it drives a lot of our decisions. And you don't want money to be driving your decisions when these are your life. And people go for years putting off their life because of these money decisions when they're living in their old crap and they're living in illusion. So money is still going to come up, and I help people with that because it should be a stretch. It should be uncomfortable, but not devastating. So we work through that. There was a time when I thought what would solve all my problems would be if I just didn't have to worry about money or think about money. But we understand energy. You have to focus your attention on something to call it in and to help it grow. If you're pushing money away, hating money, don't want to deal with money, money will be happy to get out of your sphere. Happy to, because energetically. What I found was when a powerful mentor told me this, and it has changed my life. He said, freedom is not having all the money you want and need. Freedom is knowing how to create all the money you want and need when you want and need it. I want that to really land. I want you to really think about it because it's so true and it has changed everything. I have a story for you today. I can't wait to share with you about a big, big thing that I manifested pretty quickly because I had adopted this, because I had learned this and taken it to heart and put it into practice. So think about that, about changing where money is in your life, changing this constant struggle with money. Because when he was saying freedom is not about having all the money you want and need, guess what? That changes. When I was running a business that was making less than $50,000 a year, my business costs were much less. I finally created what I thought was all the money I wanted and needed. I'm paying my little bills here. I'm paying myself. I'm paying my, the things in my world. And then I was called to make a greater impact, and I needed greater income to do that. To build a bigger business, to build the six-figure business, it takes more money. It takes more travel. It takes more clothing and makeup and shoes. It takes more investment in yourself to understand what to do. I always have a coach. I've not been without a coach since 2009, and I wouldn't be. That's how I went from making under $50,000 a year to breaking that $50,000 barrier when I had never made $50,000 in my life. And then I broke the 6-figure mark, and now I have a strong 6-figure business, and I'm working on the next goal. But all the money I wanted and needed so I didn't have to worry changed dramatically. Just the websites and the online and getting traffic and all of those things as you grow. I teach people in the beginning how to build your business very economically, because that's what I did. I teach you starting out, you only need 4 things to build your business, and I teach you how to do it, and you can get through unless you're a very fast mover. I did this for 2.5 years as I built the rest of my business, and it took me into full-time sustainable business from day one, how to get more clients and how to get more income. I can show you how to do that. You can connect with me at fromcallingtocash.com, and I've got some free resources there, fromcallingtocash.com. So I want you to stay with me. I want you to be open, even if you get triggered. We are going to talk about money, and we are going to shift some stuff during this call that will go beyond. Talking about with greater impact comes greater income. I'd love for you to see my new website we unveiled just a few weeks ago in March. It is Michelle Barr Speaks, michellebarrspeaks.com, MICHELLEBARRSPEAKS. And I have a formula there for you. How I went from never having made $50,000 in my life to breaking the 50,000 barrier and then crossing the 6-figure line and beyond. You can download that formula at michellebarrspeaks.com. So go do that. Go to michellebarrspeaks.com, go to fromcallingtocash.com, and I'm going to be right back here in just a minute, and we are going to get into the money stuff.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Imagine receiving healing, vibration-raising energy as you listen to the radio, energy that flows effortlessly to you. Imagine exploring all things metaphysical, sharing in an ongoing adventure. Join me, Karen Smoot, along with my co-hosts Lisa Victorson and Wendy Weber for Immersion into Source every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on OM Radio.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Greetings, fellow soul travelers. This is Dr. Amelia Kemp with OMTimes Radio. If you've been stressed mentally or emotionally, then join me on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the From Psychotherapy to Sacred Therapy show, where you'll learn you're not sick, you're sacred. And by aligning with the soul is what makes you whole.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
Hello, welcome back. Okay, we are talking all about money on the show today. So all I'm asking is that you listen, you be open, you stay with me. We are going to open up some ideas. We are going to shift some energy right on the call, and you're going to take some new things away from here. Notice what triggers you. Come on Facebook and find me at Michelle B. Barr or Michelle Barr Unlimited on Facebook. Those are my pages, Michelle B. Barr and Michelle Barr Unlimited. And let's talk about this. It's important. So I'm going to start out by telling you money is tired of getting a bad rap. I wrote a blog about that. Today, science can prove what many masters have already known. Everything is energy, and that includes money. Money is energy, and when I started working with this, for us energy folks, that can really create a shift right there. Money is energy, a form of exchange and a representation of the value you give out into the world. Everything else about money, other than as neutral energy, is based on your own stuff and mass consciousness beliefs that have been passed down over time. Wow. Are you willing to accept that? Are you willing to take responsibility? 3 years ago, I began to struggle in my business. I was bumping up against all the money I had ever earned, and I couldn't go any further. I knew it was time to up-level my business, but I just couldn't make it happen. I hired a coach to work with me intensively for 6 months to heal all the stuff I had going on about money that kept me from being able to do my work in the world and make the impact I'm here to make. I saw so many unhealthy patterns and limiting beliefs that had been running my show. A big one among them was the whole issue of being paid for doing spiritual work. And another one was receiving money from people when they were hurting. I came to see that this was all my stuff. I was projecting things onto these other people who then could not show up in my world as my clients and students. I was telling all kinds of stories about them that did not empower them at all. It actually kept them victimized and stuck. And guess what? It kept me the same way. Remember at the beginning telling you my story about how my clients were showing up with these issues because I was showing up with the same issues in my world, so I would fall into their money stories. And that didn't serve me at all. It didn't serve them at all. The more you're willing to become a conscious creator of your own experience and take 100% responsibility for everything that is showing up in your world, the more freedom you have to actually create positive, long-lasting, life-changing transformation. This struggle, this love-hate relationship with money, it keeps you from being who you are in the world. And it keeps you from having what you need to do, what you're here to do, and to enjoy the life you're here to live. I believe we exist in an infinite, abundant universe. Do you? Created by a creator who wants for us what we want for ourselves. Many in my spiritual community hold these beliefs, and yet they continue to live a less than life. A life of lack and scarcity, of fear and uncertainty, of holding back, constricting and struggling against. It breaks my heart. Honestly, it keeps me up at night and fuels my fire whenever I want to stop moving forward myself. I see it so much and so much in the spiritual community. People walking around saying, I believe in an infinite, abundant universe. And then you look at their life and there's no evidence of that. Money is not the most important thing in life, but money touches everything that is important to you. Think about that. Recently, I was at a conference in which several people had shown up to learn how to go out into the world with their gifts and make a living doing it. Yet the first thing they did was start arguing against money. They told stories of how they were not motivated by money, that they didn't really want money, or that they only wanted enough money to take care of their basic needs. That keeps you small. It might keep you safe. It's not the way to get out in the world and have an impact. And here's where I'm going to call bullshit. And thankfully, the coach and mentor leading this event did just that. You see, I used to give myself away for free, overgive and overvalue the needs of others while undervaluing my worth and not taking for myself what I needed, not allowing myself to live the life I desired because I perceived others were suffering. Others will always be suffering. Others will always be suffering of their own making. I thought I was being noble and humble, a good servant. I thought I was being oh so spiritual. What I actually was doing was living in my own wounding about not being good enough. I really want that to land. I thought I was being noble and humble, a good servant. I thought I was being oh so spiritual. What I actually was doing was living in my own wounding about not being good enough. I mean, if I stood up and actually charged what I was worth, if I took a stand in the marketplace as me, I would risk finding out that I'm not good enough, that I don't have enough to offer. But if I played it safe and played it small, if I gave it all away, then nobody could complain, right? The problem is the people I gave myself away to didn't value me. They didn't go on to hire me later, and they actually didn't get better the way the people who stepped up and invested in themselves and engaged with me in a fair exchange of energy in the form of money did. And then I resented them after willingly giving myself away, because then I would wear out my resources and I'd have to start gathering them up all over again. I had to close my first healing and wellness center after turning it into the most expensive hobby I've ever had and running it myself and my family's finances into the ground. But that changed everything. I got up off that ground and I turned it all around to what I have now, a thriving global online business, a solid 6-figure business that allows me to do the work I'm made to do the work I'm here to do the work I'm called to do, and to live a life that I want to be living, that I need to live to do that work. I understand the struggle. I lived it for over 20 years. I felt called to be a healer and helper, and then later a coach, mentor, spiritual teacher, speaker, and author. It's not about money for a lot of us, but money has to be a part of it for both parties. The trainings, workshops, and retreats you want to attend, the self-care you need to do this work, the business tools you need to reach the world with your message, the travel, the networking, the personal and spiritual growth and development. All of these require that you have money to pay for them, and that money comes to you through people as you do your work in the world. The universe brings money to you. That money comes to you through people as you step out in the world to do your work. So think about this. This is a vicious cycle I see, again, especially in the spiritual community. Well, I have this calling, but I'm not willing to value myself, so I'm overgiving and undervaluing, and I'm giving myself away for free. But now I need this training, this workshop, this retreat. So I'm looking for scholarships and donations and GoFundMe, and you're sitting on a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine. You have everything you need. Go sell it. Go into the marketplace with your gifts and put a value on it. When I had to close my business, I could no longer do my work. People would no longer have a place to come, and there would not be healing available to them. But Spirit got me back up on my feet and presented me with an opportunity to step up and move forward. And I accepted it. I hired my first business coach, opened a new business, and quadrupled my income in less than 6 months because now I had added money to the equation and I was paying attention to it. I built a full local private practice, and then I was called again to a larger stage to play bigger and make more of an impact. I took my business online and global so I could reach out and serve clients all over the world. And that's what I'm doing now. And once again, I found myself bumping up against my money stuff. But this time, I was more willing to take honest inventory and deal with it. Regardless of whether you like to live simply or you like to live large, you should not shut out money that is trying to come to you for the value you are providing in the world. That's how we receive money, for the value we provide in the world. Your bank account shows you how much value you're providing in the world and in the marketplace. You having less will never make someone else have more. You know what will make someone else have more? You making a lot of money and then freely giving to others by your choice. It takes a good amount of money today to create the visibility and reach you need to make the big impact in the world you are being called to make. Don't take another step this year with the same old money stuff running your show. Come back. We're going to talk more about this. Stay with me.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Are you ready to shift your energy, consciousness, and limiting beliefs? Join me, Shefali Burns, every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Shifting with Shefali here on OMTimes Radio. Shift the blocks, limitations, and negative energies that have kept you from experiencing a life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Are you ready to shift with Shefali? Are you ready to shine your brilliance?
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hey ladies, do you want to have that good hair day feeling all the time? Gentlemen, would you want your special someone to have that glow, letting you know she's feeling completely satisfied? This feeling and that glow can be yours by embracing your sexual power. So join me, Rachel Kenley, award-winning romance author, on the O-Spot. The O-Spot will guide you to that peak with guest interviews, book discussions, and conversations on the thrills of sexual empowerment. Put the zing back in your life. Come up and see me sometime on the O-Spot, live on Hump Day at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Hello. Welcome back. This is Michelle Barr on OMTimes Radio Network with Sacred Business Success, and we're talking about something very important today. So I appreciate you staying here with me. It's about money. And we've been talking about it. And now my coach's challenge to you is don't take another step this year with the same old money stuff running your show. Dare to take an honest look. Recognize that if you are being charged negatively with anything around money, it's your stuff. You are giving meaning to a neutral energy. It's showing you what is ready to be cleared, healed, and resolved so that you can be who you want to be, do what you want to do, and have what you want to have. Money is just one of the energies that I work with my clients. It's personal for each person, and dealing with this can help you change the quality of your life and expand your positive impact on the world in a short amount of time. There's energetic work to be done, and when you do the energetic work first and then learn to master the art of taking action, anything is possible. I mentioned earlier I leave room in my calendar for 10 complimentary consultations a month. Maybe this is the exact subject you need to get some help with. Go to michellebarr.com or fromcallingtocash.com. Click on the contact button, contact me, and grab one of those spots, and let's talk this out. This changed my life. I had to get a handle on it. There was no way around it. Now I'm going to tell you something exciting, how I got the money to do something I really wanted to do and what that means for you. There's a quote, "Nothing at all will be attempted if all possible objections must first be overcome." Samuel Johnson. Nothing at all will be attempted if all possible objections must first be overcome. It's so true. Money objections, they show up a lot when I'm talking to people on calls. I've told you, the more I heal mine, the less they're such a big objection and obstacle that people can't get over them. And the more I'm able to actually attract people who have other fears and concerns who show up and have the money to pay. Even if sometimes it's a stretch or uncomfortable, other times they show up and have the money to pay in full. You want to get to a place where you understand that freedom is not about just having all the money you want and need. It's about knowing how to create all the money you want and need when you want and need it. I use this all the time now. What I experienced last year, to say it was amazing just doesn't even do it justice. I start getting the feelings. I get tongue-tied because I want to have you feel and experience what I'm feeling from it. There really are no words, and yet this experience gave me many, many words for you. And I want to share with you. It changed my life, and it can change your life if you let it. Everything for me, everything I do for myself, I also do for you, because that's the business I'm in. And so last year, you were right there with me the whole time. I was talking to you in my head. I was listening to you and feeling your unmanifested desires. And I always go first. Everything I experienced since I turned my life into an experiment for the law of attraction in 2003 first comes through me and then out to you. So hop in, because I'm going to take you for a ride through my give back journey to Africa. First things first, how did I make this happen? How did I get myself there? I know that you are sitting there with a desire, a dream to do a give back of your own, and yet it always seems to get put off for another time when things are different. Even investing in a coach, going to an event, taking a training or a workshop, or taking yourself on that spiritual retreat, those all feed me and help me do my work. And now I know how to create the money for those. I have my eye on a spiritual retreat in Sedona this summer. and I know how to create the money to make that happen, even though I have some big expenses right now. I'm rolling out huge new programs. I'm getting on big stages. I've got all kinds of new website and everything. I'm about to go on a big live tour. You can make these things happen, not put them off for another time when things are different. I had heard about this trip the end of 2013, the end of 2014, actually. And I knew I had to go. I just knew. And I didn't allow myself to start swimming around in any objections. I heard about the trip the end of 2014. It was one of those that jumped out for a number of reasons. You have to go. This is going to change your life, and you need to do it. And the trip was in 2015. I didn't let myself start swimming around in any objections. I've learned better. I've changed my brain and my physiology not to react in the same way so that I can manifest what I want and need. I've learned better, and so now I do better. I made a huge shift in my life when I stopped saying, I can't afford that, or I don't have the money for that. I started asking instead, tell me what that costs so I can create the money for it. That one's huge. Stop saying I can't afford that, because you could if you chose to go without eating or give up your Starbucks or not drive your car and spend the money on gas or not get your hair done or your nails done. I see this all the time. So I would say I choose not to spend the money I have on that because it's earmarked for other things. Groceries, bills, gas. There are people who choose not to pay their bills and to go without other things for something they really want. So I said, I'm not going to say I can't afford that. I choose not to spend the money I have on that because it's earmarked for other things. So I am going to create money for this. And then I take the aligned actions, the inspired actions, and then when that money shows up, I immediately put it to that thing. I don't say I can't afford that or I don't have the money for that. I started asking instead, tell me what that costs so I can create the money for it. I stepped in, I signed the contract, I made the commitment, I put down the down payment, and then I got to work being me more and doing me more. You see, I've learned that when I need to create more money, I need to put more value out into the world. Get that? When I need to create more money, I need to put more value out into the world. I need to be more of me, to show up more, and to put myself and my work out into the world more. And then the universe comes in and connects all the dots. I have to do my part first. So that's what I did. And the money started showing up. The clients started coming in. This isn't tit for tat here. All you have to do is your part. The money came in from all kinds of places. And there I was, paid up with money in the bank for my time during the trip, and I was on my way. And to let you know, because I started that, all kinds of things come together. It's just very organic and very holistic. So at the same time, 2015, I took these huge extra expenses. It was the biggest year of my life. I doubled my income in 12 months. I told you can download that formula at michellebarspeaks.com. But something else spectacular happened. I manifested a first-class ticket for the 17-hour flight that came to me as an unexpected gift. I didn't even ask for it. I was just out there being me and doing me and making this trip happen, and I was in the joy of it. This is one of the reasons we get into this work in the first place, to give back, to be of service. It's just that too many of us give ourselves and our work away until we are depleted, and have no more to give. And so we stop. That was me just a few years ago. And it breaks my heart. It keeps me up at night to see so many of you just stop. Now here I am giving from a full well, and it works so much better for me and all the people I am now able to give back to. This is possible for you to live this way. I know, because I once was where you are now, and I got myself here. Now my passion is to help you do the same. My money stuff still kicks up. I told you I'm taking some huge risks right now to grow my business. I put them off for way too long out of fear, security, being safe, playing small, and now I'm doing them, and my money stuff is kicking up. But I have to remind myself of what I've done, how far I've come with money. While I was in Africa, I helped build a house, and I taught a school for women learning to be entrepreneurs and better their circumstances. The biggest objection I get from people when they call me for help is money. So I wanted to address this first. I got to go and do these things. And I put value out into the world, and value in the form of the energy of money, and money came back to me. I work with my clients on their money stuff in big ways. I've worked with my own money stuff in big ways. It's a key piece of the work I do with people just like you, because it comes up so much. And because I want to see more money in the hands of heart-centered helpers and healers and givers just like you. Don't you? So I'd ask you, you say you believe in an infinite and abundant universe, right? So are you living your life as an example of that? If not, why aren't you living as an example of that? Do you want to be? Let's talk about you and your unmanifested desires and how I can help you right now. Go to michellebar.com or fromcallingtocash.com and click on the contact tab. I'll be right back. I've got more for you.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Vibe Nation Radio is brought to you by Carrie Turcotte and Dean Thomas. Each week, we bring a refreshing outlook to lifting the veils of illusion that occur in our daily lives. We will share our own learnings and personal experience that allow others to understand who they truly are.
At the end of each show, Carrie will be tapping into the listeners' energies just to give an idea of what to expect for the week ahead. So join us each Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and together we will discover the inner keys that will unlock the true you.
Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Matt Connerton here. Join Jen Coffey and I twice a week for Matt Connerton Unleashed, a political talk show that's a little different than what you're used to. No liberal or conservative agenda here, just an honest dialogue about truth and how things really work in the world of politics. Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr, Sacred Business Success on OMTimes Radio Network. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm talking about money, and I'm talking about it right up front. And every time I do that, guess what? It triggers some people a lot. I get some haters. Haters gonna hate. That's when you know you're really out there with a message and you're saying something, when it polarizes people. But it used to be really hard when I would get that hate mail. I know by now that I'm a catalyst, but it still gets really uncomfortable when what I put out there starts flying back at me. You know, I already got unfriended several times. There was a very heated debate by a Facebook friend who had been connected to me for over 3 years. She was arguing for her limitations and saying she's waiting until money no longer exists and all our needs are met by spirit. That day is coming, she told me. Yes, I know, you could be right, but it's not here right now, and you are. And rather than even let me have my opinion, she was so triggered, she unfriended me. And I want you to think about that. In some people's world, people would think this is really bizarre, but I see it a lot in our world. Wishing money didn't exist and waiting for the day money no longer exists. But money is just an energy, so there will always be an exchange of energy. Every transaction is an exchange of energy. And the reason we created money, and some people in the spiritual world, in the spiritual business world, are still trying to barter. I say don't barter your brilliance. Don't barter at all. People would always approach me, and they didn't understand that I know lots of people who offer me all kinds of intuitive and healing services, and that won't pay my bills. That won't pay my travel. That won't keep my business going. That won't put groceries. And people want to do this bartering. Once I learned this, I got to where even if I wanted a service of a friend or colleague, where basically it would be like we were going to trade services, I still wrote that check or sent that PayPal and we exchanged that money, because you just don't want to get into that. It is never, ever an even exchange of energy. Never, ever. So if we took money away, there would be something else. And money just makes you more of what you already are. So you'd play that out in all different ways. There are always people who are going to do things certain ways. You're here right now. I can't tell you how many people have told me they hate money and can't wait for the day it no longer exists. Money is just energy, and if it wasn't paper and coins, you would still play out the same stuff you're playing out now, whatever that is. It's about the receiving and allowing and the putting your value out into the world. That's what you've got to get a handle on. You have the opportunity to have one of the greatest spiritual transformations of your life by dealing with and healing your issues with money. I come here week after week and month after month challenging my clients to step up into their greatness, to answer what is calling to them, to do what they are made to do, and to live a great life at the same time. So I have to continue to do the same. I coach and train a lot of spiritual, intuitive people to build their businesses, and in doing so, to build the life they want to live. Not too long ago, one of my clients had gone back to work after her business wasn't supporting and sustaining her. Within the first 30 days of working with me in my private coaching program, she was making money, good, solid money. Just 90 days later, she had reduced her work schedule by over half and is now planning for the day very soon when she leaves the job for good. She got scared. She went back after building a business. Then she wanted to get it right. I help a lot of people come out of their jobs, and I don't always say, oh, just jump right out of your job, because there's mindset and there's energy and there's action, aligned action. All of this has to work together. And here's the thing. When I had the expensive hobby and I had to decide, I'm running this as a business and I don't want to ever have to work for anybody else again. And I haven't since 2006. You come to a place where you say, is this going to be a hobby? If so, I know I'm going to fund it in other ways, and it's a hobby. The problem is people run an expensive hobby, but they want it to pay them, and they're not being honest with themselves, and then they resent it. And that's what happened to me in the beginning. I decided this is a business, so I've got to make business decisions. If you're going to volunteer, if you're going to fund an expensive hobby or create a nonprofit, then know that and be honest with yourself. Here's the thing. If you're building a business, it's about money. If not, it's not a business. If you're building a business and conflicted about this, you're probably not making any money. How do I know? Because I've done both. I fooled myself into thinking I was running a business until I finally had to admit that what I created for myself was a very expensive hobby. I had to close the doors on it after 18 months. I had run my family's finances into the ground, not provided for my own needs, and now I couldn't do my work in the world either. That sucked. Why else would you endure the time, energy, and resources it takes to build a business in the first place? Not to mention the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual effort that is expended. It's an amazing journey, and also the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course and program you will ever enroll in. That's why you need a coach. And that's why you need a coach that understands spiritual and business. And I am that coach. I am your spiritual business building coach and mentor. The whole reason you build a business is to express who you truly are and to create a life of freedom, purpose, and soul level satisfaction. You create your business to support and sustain the life you want to live. And that includes your business making money. Whether your needs and wants are big or simple, running your own business takes money. Up-leveling your business takes money. Why is it that this is well-known fact and till we start talking about spiritual businesses where people are using their spiritual gifts? Think about that. What drives a lot of us spiritual helpers and healers is the desire to make the world a better place to live in. That is what initially has always driven me. We are called to use the gifts we are given. We feel other people and know we can do something that helps them. What I'm telling you now is that after 2 decades of working nonprofits to serve others making way under $50,000 a year, most of the time under $30,000 a year, I wasn't able to live the life I wanted to live, a life that supports me and sustains me in my spiritual journey and in my physical journey, the life I want to live with my husband and my children and my family. Then I went out into my community and tried to run a service for everyone else without also serving my highest good, and it didn't work for anyone. And finally, I was done with that. It didn't serve me. It didn't serve my family, and it really didn't serve the people I was trying to serve. How could it? What a horrible role model. Is this landing for you? Are you so done with that? I know people right now, lots of them, who have beautiful gifts to give others and a beautiful spirit and energy to share, but they aren't doing it. They're touching people a little at a time when they can squeeze it in around jobs they don't love and being exhausted from jobs they don't love, plus the worry and fear and struggle that comes with living without enough, and the energy drain of not living in your purpose and your truth. Then you could be touching hundreds and even thousands. How do I know? Because when I got done with what wasn't working for me or anybody else, I went out and found the people who are building spiritual businesses using their gifts and touching hundreds and thousands of lives every year, day in and day out. They take care of themselves, which allows them to be of even greater service. I started learning from them, and I started doing the same. And it has changed everything. One of the things I had to do in the beginning of this new journey was heal my money crap. A lot of spiritual people have it, and it gets in the way. We are the first and loudest people to proclaim that we believe in an abundant universe. But the proof is in the actual experience. What are you waiting for? If you were done here, you would choose to leave. You're still here. It's time to talk about the money. It's time to heal the money crap personally and across our communities and culture, and that begins with you. My passion is for money to be in the hands of heart-centered, loving, compassionate, helping, healing people. They are the ones, we are the ones who are going to make a real difference in the world. And it takes standing up, getting real, challenging what you think and believe, taking honest inventory of what you have been doing and how you have been living, and then to make a new decision, a new choice, and a new commitment. If you want to, if you're ready to, or not. I hope you will take some action today and reach out and connect with me. I've given you resources and tools to get you started. Walk away today and do something different.